born and raised here in West Virginia, and you don't even have to think. It's just the way you were born and raised. When there's a need, you see how you can help that need. It's not even a conscious thought. It's just something we do. It's in our DNA, maybe.
And tonight we continue to be your source for news through this historic and heartbreaking flood as those relief efforts continue. Good evening, I'm Callie Cart.
And I'm Stefano DiPietrantonio. We are live here in Clendenin, and we want to give you an idea tonight inside one of these homes. So we are live right now from homes to businesses and this church inside Clendenin, the Falling Rock Gospel Tabernacle Church. You know, some of these houses and buildings had as much as 5 feet of water inside. Look at this side of the window. You see this haze line right here? I'm 6 feet tall. The haze line is right here about at my chin. So this building had this much water coursing inside. They have actually cleared out the sanctuary right now. It was filled with pews back here. They've had to rip up the carpeting, rip up the tiling, and you can see on the wall over here, they've torn the drywall out halfway up the wall, and this is actually a bonus for the church, some kind of a savings. They only had to rip out half of the wall, but there is so much soaking wet debris left inside here, and the need is so great all over Kanawha County. Some 400 homes destroyed and roughly 600 more damaged in some form or fashion. Bush Fields is here from another church down the road. You guys volunteered to help, and you've got a handful of volunteers. What have you guys been doing all day?
We started out, we took out the pews first, and then we just started tearing all the carpet up, and then went right into the paneling and the sheetrock.
So once the water went down, Butch, what did you notice about the pews inside the church here? I mean, these are solid oak pews, and they were all destroyed?
Oh, they were warped, they were cracked, water-soaked mud. Yeah.
I noticed you guys are hauling out wheelbarrows just full of this stuff back here. Were you stunned when you saw the water line at the haze line on the window here?
Yeah, pretty bad. It's devastating.
Even as we're just standing here talking and breathing in some of the air, it's pretty heavy inside as you guys are stirring everything up.
Yeah, it was worse when we started.
You also had some help from some other volunteers who just happened to be here from a vacation Bible school in North Carolina.
They just showed up. Lord will provide.
The Lord will provide, and He is right now. Lots of volunteers. Butch, thanks a lot. And you know, one of the things that he and the volunteers are worried about is their health as you start coming in contact with all this muddy, super soaked debris. Eyewitness News reporter Brooke Thibodeau spent the day talking to some of the mobile clinics being set up around here to help folks who are having to deal with this every day now indefinitely.
Medical tents are passing out hygiene products, bug spray for mosquitoes, and checking out anyone who walks up.
With all the water from the river, there's sewage. And so all the bacteria that you find in sewage water can certainly cause infections. There's also the problem of tetanus, which is why we're doing a tetanus shot clinic.
Robert Stricker isn't the only one who stopped by needing some TLC for his feet.
Where my feet's been wet from wading around the water and the mud and the muck, they're just blistered up and raw, and I'm glad they kept having the tetanus shots. I had one a few years ago, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to get a booster on it.
And that's what they're asking people living in the area and volunteers to do. But there are more concerns.
Just the issues of mildew, of mold, of stress.
Lovin says they saw a lot of stress after the derecho. She expects even more. People have experienced trauma. 2 psychologists are on staff at Clendenin Health Center, and American Red Cross is providing counseling.
Right now, everybody is in this, I've got to get everything back together, I've got to get everything cleaned out. And we know from experience with many other disasters around the world that this will be a long-term thing.
Reporting in Clendenin, Brooke Thibodeau, Eyewitness News.
All right, now there are two other locations, the National Guard tent next to Smith's grocery store, and the second one is set up between the Clendenin United Methodist Church and the Clendenin Middle School. And all those locations are open until 6 o'clock tonight and then first thing tomorrow morning. Now, we stepped outside of the church. Take a look. Here are all the pews just lined up in the parking lot, the church piano, the pulpit, and even all the debris that's been just ripped out of here right now. This is the story over much of Clendenin right now. Just incredible damage, and the trash piles are massive. In Cabell County, Cabell Huntington Hospital is getting ready to help the flood victims with plans to set up even more mobile medical units there. The plan is now to travel to Raynell on Thursday, and they're going to stay in the area as long as they're needed. The hospital is going to provide staff and give vaccinations and deliver care and support. The medical professionals doing this tell us they are so glad that they're volunteering and happy to help those in need.
This entire region is all about rolling their sleeves up and helping others. I think that is the true culture of West Virginia and in the tri-state area. And because of that, we just see it as part of our duty and just what we would do as normal citizens.
The hospital also started a supply drive for flood victims, and they placed bins throughout the campus for people to put those collected items in. Now, nearby in Nicholas County, as we know, Richwood was really one of the hardest hit areas. It just took a beating during the flood last week. Eyewitness News reporter Gil McClanahan is in Richwood right now to show us how the city of Hurricane is actually giving them a helping hand. Gil.
Some Hurricane City employees, some Hurricane residents, and even a Hurricane church are all reaching out to the city of Richwood to help them in their flood recovery efforts. Amen. This group is from Lighthouse Baptist Church in Hurricane. They are at Cherry River Southern Baptist Church in Richwood because both congregations hold a special bond.
This church is our sister church. We helped establish this church 6 years ago. Our church did, and so we're here to help them in any way we can.
Pastor Kevin Prevett says there was 3 feet of water in the church. Now his church members are tearing out the stage and cleaning out the mud and debris.
We've seen people step up and be the hands and feet, and it's awesome just to see God's brothers and sisters coming together and working together for the cause of Christ.
The city of Hurricane sent a team to help Richwood with water, sewer, and infrastructure issues caused by the flooding. Here they are trying to find a water line to make repairs to restore water service.
And we just love, helping any way we can. It's very rewarding. I mean, you go home or you go to bed with a big smile on your face.
Some Hurricane residents also contributed supplies for flood victims. At this point, it's unclear how long each group will be here in Richwood because recovery efforts aren't expected to end anytime soon. In Richwood, Gil McClanahan, Eyewitness News.
Now, with your help, the Union Mission has already filled 6 tractor trailers full of supplies, and they're being taken to those flood zones, but they still need more help. But county leaders say here in Clendenin and in Elkview, they're asking you to not drop off any more supplies here, but take them directly to the Union Mission drop-off locations so they can help distribute them, because they have just nowhere to put anything right now. As you can see, there are just piles of debris everywhere, so they have no place safe to put any of the collected supplies. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to help you help people. Continue bringing your stuff to these 3 locations indefinitely. That is bottled water, cleaning supplies, meals that are ready to eat, all kinds of food items like peanut butter, tuna fish, and Spam. Nothing that needs to be cooked. This is all stuff that needs to be ready to eat. Volunteers are going to be on hand at the 3 drop-off sites at Drug Emporiums on McCorkle Avenue, Canal Boulevard, and Mall Road in Barbersville. Volunteers are there from 9 until 6, so please take your items there instead of dropping them off here in Clendenin or over in Elkview. Coming up in our next half hour, you're going to find out how Marshall athletes are making a difference in Elkview. Also, what about getting your mail? What the Postal Service is saying about 17 alternative stations you can go to make sure you don't miss anything while we all get through this. Live here in Clendenin, Stefano DiPietrantonio, Eyewitness News.